So maybe like $5 a kid you got to estimate and charge it that way. So you can easily make $1,000, $1,500 for like a festival if they're paying you. But if you're gonna do like a pay for play, which we're gonna do that in a couple weeks, I'm thinking somewhere between $8 or maybe like $7 and $10. It depends. But as far as like recoupment on your expenses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we did it right, and we branded all of our stuff so nothing looks janky. Everything looks cohesive, right?
What's the name of the business? Is called Vortex Foam Party?
Vortex Foam Party, yep.
Where'd you get the name from?
My husband.
Okay. I'm just asking questions. Like, this is cool. I saw this and I was like, whoa. But it really sprays that good, huh?
You said what?
It really sprays that good, right?
Yeah.
Now, I know something that a lot of people don't know, but that the mixture's kind of expensive, isn't it?
I bought a lot at a time. So I think a 5-gallon bucket is like $60.
And how long will that last? How long will a 5-gallon bucket last?
A 5-gallon bucket will make, I think, don't make me do the math.
How many parties can you do with a 5-gallon bucket?
Oh, lots. Lots. Yeah. I bought 50 Uline 1-gallon bottles. Y'all do the math for me. I bought 50 Uline 1-gallon bottles, and I used 2 5 gallons of gel to get that, and then I had leftover. I don't know.
So you've only used 2 gallons? Is that what you're saying?
Not even. I have so much on the shelf made. You can call me today and say you want to party in an hour, and I'm ready to go.
That's cool. What a little idea you got. And then what are y'all doing with junk removal now?
We still do it. I can do a foam party in somebody's backyard by myself. Mm-hmm. I've done a church pretty much by myself, but like a festival, I need help because that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you're charging and all the things.
So we're going to do a hallway this year. We're not built. We haven't built it yet. We're putting in a hallway, and we bought a foam machine, a testing foam machine. We always buy smaller versions of what we really need, you know? And this motherfucking thing was like $500. And it's like, I mean, it's not that big. It's like the size of, I guess, like a briefcase. But anyway, we tested it out, and it filled up the hallway quick. I was so surprised how fast it filled up the hallway. But I was like, wow, this is impressive. But then we started thinking, you know, this thing's got to run, 17 days. You know what I'm saying? And it's got to, we're thinking we need a big one. I put a budget of $1,000. That was my budget to spend on the machine. So
you can find like a Foam Daddy one.
Yeah.
On eBay or on Marketplace, honestly.
Really?
But it'll be used, so you can't guarantee that it's like optimal, but you can absolutely find it.
Right. Look at me. I'm on Facebook looking for one.
But the big one, the stacker, is quieter.
Oh, this is a haunted house, so it doesn't matter to us. Foam machine, you know what I mean? They can be loud as all at once. It doesn't matter to me. Oh, here's one for $3,000.
Where are they selling their business?
No. It's a foam machine for parties. This foam machine. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Check it out.
Oh, is that XF foam or something like that? I don't know anybody that uses their stuff.
How bad is that machine? Tell me how bad that machine is.
I can't really give an unbiased report because I've only used Foam Daddy equipment. But Foam Daddy has been around the longest. So we would like to think that they're the best, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know anybody that uses that brand.
It looks kind of a bee sting right there.
Yeah. But they're all pretty much the same idea.
Right.
The only brand I wouldn't go with is Dr. Foam or Dr. Party or whoever make whatever his company is.
Yeah.
I don't really like those.
Yeah, that thing looks pretty cool. Wow. I'm gonna send the link of that daddy for $2,600. I don't know if that looks expensive, man. Let's see. There's another one, a bubble party. Oh, this is a bubble party. Look, guys, y'all see this?
That's an HD stacker. That's the big one.
Oh wow, this is a party.
Do those things, do they stain? I saw different colors in them, like pink and other stuff. Does that, are people concerned about it staining or anything like that?
The
blue.
We give the disclaimers to wear clothes that you're okay with getting stained.
Oh, okay.
But are you going to look like one of those blue crew people, in Vegas? No.
Okay, because I'm wondering if it stains the skin or anything like that.
No.
That's
you
it.
have to put that much solution, that much color in a 45-gallon drum.
Okay.
It doesn't take that much.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. Congratulations, Nardia.
Thanks.
Little entrepreneur. That's pretty cool. Look at her. She did a little something. I'm going to give you a thumbs up. Who else thinks she had a good idea with the foam party? Hey. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm going to show y'all a video right now. We're going to get back to talking what we're doing, and then y'all tell me what y'all think. So this happened to us on Memorial Day. My ass got dragged to Frisco, Texas, to help out Maddie, and this is what happened. It was not the best thing in the world. Here we go. So this was an incident that happened. You got to listen kind of good. Just listen to it. I'm going to play it right here and see if y'all can hear everything that's going on in here.
How am I going to fit anything else in here? I got to pick up 3 fridges today. Tell me where 3 fridges are going to go.
Right. So basically, I'm paying for the other 3 jobs because you're not getting.
Well, how am I going to go dump today and do my other jobs that I'm going to make?
Oh my gosh, my fault.
Well, how am I going to fit anything else in here? I got to pick up 3 fridges today. Tell me where 3 fridges are going to go.
Right. So basically, I'm paying for the other 3 jobs because you're not getting.
Well, how am I going to go dump today and do my other jobs that I'm going to make money on?
3 jobs.
How can I give you a deal if I can't go do my other jobs?
You're gonna end up doing it tomorrow. When you're factory.
Oh, so I'm going to do like 9 jobs tomorrow.
No, you're
right?
gonna do me tomorrow.
No, your girlfriend said you couldn't do it tomorrow.
That'll be my wife.
Same thing.
Well, girlfriend's girlfriend, wife is wife.
Wife, girlfriend, same thing.
Could y'all hear that? Could anybody hear that?
Yes.
Okay. So the guy refused to pay us for the job, is what happened. We ran into a situation where this whole started from the beginning, and this is kind of going to be a learning experience for all of us on this one. But what happened was Maddie sent some pictures. The customer sent pictures to Maddie, and Maddie quoted him with the pictures. So who does that? Who else does that? Usually quote with pictures most of the time. Anybody?
Some of the time.
Me too. I do it all the time. I do it. Hanario, you do it too? Or okay, go ahead, Marco, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I do it too.
Renardia?
I
Renardia, yes?
I pushed the wrong button, but we do it too.
Okay, no problem. So I quote with pictures all the time too. I quote with pictures, and then if I can't quote with pictures, I just tell them I'll show up, give you a free estimate. That's how I do it.
My video's going on.
India, what? Anyway, so Maddie ended up giving this guy an estimate on the phone, and when we got there to the job, it was a lot more than was expected. Okay. And he told, I mean, he straight up told Maddie, hey, listen, you said 250. And man, this stuff was like, it was easily $500, $600 job when we got there. I mean, look at it, everything was unloaded. The back of the truck was empty. This is all his stuff. And the whole trailer got full. And you could tell it's excessively full. You know what I mean? You could really just tell it's excessively full. And we told the guy, Maddie was arguing with the guy about the price. We had not loaded anything. Nothing had been loaded yet. Maddie started arguing with the guy. And he said, well, I feel like you're getting one over on us. And I said, hey, Maddie, chill. Because we're arguing. And I said, listen, sir, if you want us to do the job, it's $500. If not, we have to go to the next one. Guy gets on the phone, calls his wife. They confirm we'll do the job. So then we did the job. We loaded everything on the trailer, everything on the truck. We normally don't put a lot of stuff, because this is an F-150. We don't normally put nothing in the back of the truck, but we did this time. And he refused to pay us. We don't think of that one, huh? Yeah. He gave us the original $250. And then we decided that after negotiating with Maddie, I told Maddie, listen, Maddie, here's what we'll do. Let me give him the $250 back, and we'll unload it all, and we'll take our loss. What do y'all think of that, guys? He didn't want to pay us the whole $500. Go ahead, Rick.
So, you know, this reminds me, you remember the summit we had at your place a year before, right? And
Right.
one of the guys was up there talking, and it kind of blew me away. And I thought about this ever since. I haven't applied it. But one of the things he says is he never puts anything in the back of the truck until he's received payment first. Do you remember that?
Right.
He does. We don't touch the junk until we're paid first. So they give their quote, and whatever the quote is, they stick with it, but they don't touch it until it's paid for. This is one of those situations I think you kind of wish that was the case. And I think of that right now. I mean, now you got to unload the whole thing and go. I don't know, man. This is a tough situation, but that's what's tough about giving quotes, either phone or even video. You don't see all the layers of the onion.
Yeah. You know what, Rick? It's the weird thing about it is the guy came to the terms that he was going to pay us the $500. You know, he said, yes, I'll pay you the $500. Just start doing the job. But at this point right here, he makes a comment. I was in front of Maddie. This is Maddie's job. This is not my job. I'm here helping Maddie. I don't get paid for this. And he says, well, y'all managed to fit it in one load when y'all said it was going to take 2 loads. You know, 250 sounds good. And I walked away because I knew this was going to be a controversy. And then I kind of stood back and I said, Maddie, go get paid. And Maddie, naive, did not know that the guy was all revved up not to pay us. Indio, go ahead, buddy.
Well, I think that was a good. I think it was a good move you did that, because you know I know by law once you get off their property you can't unload. I mean, I've had only one instance like that, and I knew it was going to turn out bad, because I don't know if you guys ever heard of huffing.
Of who?
Huffing. They take the CO2 machines and they inhale it.
Okay.
It's called huffing. So this guy had maybe 10,000 of those all over his house. And slowly but surely, this thing was heavy. So I loaded, and all of a sudden started giving me all these excuses, changing prices and all that stuff, and I just unloaded it back on his garage, and I kept it moving. I mean, he threatened me, I threatened him, and then we kept it moving.
So I'll tell you what ended up happening. I talked to Madison. I turned around. This is Madison's job, guy. This is Madison's $500. This is not my money. What would Ricardo do? What would Ricardo do? Ricardo would have got mad, and Ricardo would have probably threatened the guy. and threw all his shit on the ground and got really pissed off about the situation. I told Maddie, what do you want to do? I said, we have two options, Maddie. This guy's not going to pay us. Do you want me to go talk to the guy? And I don't want to ruin Maddie's name in Frisco because he's got a really good name in Frisco. I said, do you want me to negotiate with this guy and maybe we can do it for 400? Maddie says, no, I don't want 400. And I was thinking, damn, boy, this kid is stubborn. And I said, listen, Maddie, give me the 250. Maddie gave me the 250 back. And I said, I'm going to return the money to him and we can unload this in 10 minutes. We'll be done. We'll unload it in 10 minutes. He goes, okay, let's do it. I said, okay. So I went back and he was with the blower. He did it on purpose. He started blowing the blower so he wouldn't hear me. And I stood in front of him and I said, sir. And he turned off yes, what's up? And I said, I want to return the $250 to you. Here they are. And he put his hand out. He goes, no. And I said, sir, take the money. We want to unload everything back and we're going to leave. Now, the good thing is you're not losing anything. We're losing. We worked and we had fuel and he hired an employee. I said, bro, let me tell you something. Just, sir, take the money and we'll call it even. I'm going to leave it here. We're going to start unloading right now. And I said, Maddie, unstrap the truck. And he started unstrapping. The guy would not take my money. He goes, hold on. I'll pay you the $250. And he called our bluff. We weren't bluffing. We were not bluffing at this point. We said we wanted to leave. Because we had 3 other jobs to go to. And we were going to go to those other 3 jobs. So we had this was not a bluff, Rick. This was not a bluff. This was real shit. But we really didn't think, honestly, 100%, we didn't think this guy was going to pay us. And I was willing to give him the money back and we'd call a loss. And he said, no, never mind. And next thing you know, Maddie's phone pinged and we ended up getting $500 for the job. We won this job. We ended up winning. But Maddie was still pissed off. And I told him this, and this is going to lead to our conversation. I think I'm going to ask everybody the same question. Maddie, as we're driving down the highway, I'm realizing this is something that Maddie does. He always gives an estimate through pictures. He always gets like a lot of pictures. He'll get 5 or 6 pictures. If they give him 1 picture, he says, can you send me more? And they'll send him more, and then they'll ask for more. Maddie did it this time, and I saw the pictures compared to the trash. This guy just added a lot of stuff to it. He just added a lot of stuff. He knew he was in the wrong. But that's what separates Maddie's business from my business and another person's business. So it's a competitive edge that Maddie does. What separates Maddie from the competition in his area? Because a lot of people won't do what Maddie did. And I told him, I said, Maddie, do not change your game. Don't change your game. Keep it the same way. You've almost got burned one time. Okay? What separates Maddie from the competition? Maddie asks for pictures and give them a price right then and there. It's like ordering like a tractor. Hey, send me pictures of the tractor. Well, the tractors are going to have, attachments and blah, blah, blah. How much is it? And then you can give a price like that. On a junk removal, it's totally like, it's totally different because tractors have 3 attachments and junk removal has a lot of shit all over the place. So it's of course it's different. But I told Maddie, brother, just keep on doing what you're doing. It's going to separate you and give you a competitive edge. And I told him, I said, Maddie, do you think your competitors in the area do what you do? And he's like, no. I said, then that gives you the competitive edge. Because guys, we all know on this channel, I always talk about the most important thing that customers want, the price. That's all they care about is the price of the product that they're about to use or the service. Who agrees with me on this? That the price is number 1. Go ahead, Sin City. Okay, you're just hitting the button. Okay, you're just hitting the thumbs up. Okay, price is always king when it comes to it. And Maddie gives the price like that. So this is what separates Maddie from the competitors. And I'm going to tell you what separates me And then we'll go down the line and we'll see what everybody's ideas have. But what separates me from the competition is I have set the bar so low on pricing that it's hard for anybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex to pick up refrigerators, satellite dishes, and hot tubs. I've eliminated TV removals and almost mattress removals for every junk removal company in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Because everybody knows for a fact that Ricardo will pick up a fridge for $45 and nobody else can do it. I think Lionheart, are you on this call? Because he's in my area. No way, he's not in my area. Brother, where are you? Brandon, where are you?
Aubrey.
Okay, Brandon, you know that I've set the price so low on these refrigerators that it's hard for smaller businesses to compete with me on that business. And I think that's what sets me apart from the competitors that are around me. You know what I mean? That are doing ads and leads and stuff. Kind of explain that to everybody, Brandon, when it's another competitor.
Yeah. So it got to the point to where, like if you search Google junk removal, refrigerator removal, it would say junk guys $45, and my price was $55. And then you called me out and you're like, that's why you're not removing refrigerators, because what are you going to go with, 45 or 55? So I dropped mine to 45 and I started getting some fridges, but nothing near as close to what you get.
Right. And I think that's one of my competitive edges, Brandon, that I use. I mean, you don't live off the fridge. I live off the fridge. You don't even give a fuck about the fridges. You know that. I think the day that me and you worked, we picked up a handful, didn't we?
Yeah, at least 5.
Yeah. So we did a lot of jobs that day. But, I mean, that's a competitive edge to me, okay? So I'm going to ask this question to everybody. And, Brandon, you'll be the first one that I'll ask the question to. What sets you apart from the competition? What is something that Brandon and Lionheart Junk Removal does that sets you apart from, not from me, but from your neighborhood in Aubrey and the people that are around you? You know, because I think Maddie's close to you too. What sets you apart, Brandon? What do you do that nobody else can do?
Well, I do a lot of send me pictures like you were talking about that Maddie does earlier. Send me the pictures and here's the price. And, you know, I would say 70% of the time that works. And if they've gotten a couple of other quotes, typically those quotes are going to be, we got to see it on site. We got to be there in person. And then that's where they sucker you into a higher price. But when somebody gets the price locked in and can get on the schedule, that's important. I don't do a lot of in-person quotes, but I had a customer maybe like 6 months ago, and they were going to have a full play set that needed to be demoed, and then their attic and their garage cleaned out, and it was in Frisco. And when I got there, it was an in-person quote. They had mentioned, you're the second quote, and I was like, let me guess, Junk Guys was the first quote. And I was like, yes. Or he was like, yes. And I was like, so you met Maddie? And he was like, yeah. He told me 400. And I was like, well, for me to fill my trailer up, and this is going to fill my trailer up, it's going to be 450. I can't go 400. And he was like, well, last night after the quote, I guess he looked at the pictures again. And he was like, I underquoted. This is at least 500. And so he was telling me this, and I was like, okay, like 450 is my trailer load. I feel like we can fit all this for 450. He was like, can you lock in 450 right now? I was like, even if it overflows my trailer and I got to come back, I'll lock in 450.
That's good. That's smart. That was smart.
That happened.
Yeah. That's really good. That's really good. I mean, you sold a job for my son, but congratulations on that one. But
no, it's just competition in the area. That's what it's all about.
Definitely. No, that's fair. I think I thought if someone asked me what's Brandon's competitive edge, Brandon, you'll do anything, won't you? You'll do brick, you'll do concrete, you'll tear down something. Don't you do that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I definitely fucking know. No, I remember you called me one time and you said, "Hey, I'm about to tear down. Can you help me?" I'm like, "No, motherfucker, I'm not going to help you do shit like that. I don't do construction material." And that's something I told Maddie: don't ever do construction material. Don't do remodeling material. Just stick to junk removal. And Brandon will do that stuff. You know what I mean? I've given your phone number to people, by the way, and like Aubrey, when they'll call me for like rock or so, I said, "No, there's a company called Lionheart. I don't know have his number handy, but Lionheart junk removal. He does a good job and he's got good prices." But that's a competitive edge that you have with other junk removal companies, and definitely a competitive edge you have on Maddie. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. All right, Rick, what sets you apart? What's a competitive edge that you have, Rick? Your junk removal company has over the people that are in your area, your competitors. What do you think it is?
You know, I'm glad you asked that, because I've been sitting here trying to figure that out, and I'm like, okay, why am I still in business 5 years from when I started? And other people I've seen come in over, you know, that I've seen out here, you see the yard signs here, and you don't see them anymore. And I'm kind of like, why have I been able to stick with it? And I don't know. I'm struggling trying to figure out what makes me any different, because I don't really follow what these guys do. I just kind of do my own.
Right.
And I'm able to stick, you know, it's been relatively slow in the greater Phoenix area. And I can tell it's slow because there's a lot of these bigger guys that are putting out their marketing more than they did before.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you see them more on Facebook. You see more of just different ads out there and everything else going on.
Like the 1-800 Junks and the Junk Kings?
Oh, yeah, they're putting them out.
Good.
And even some of the smaller ones, you know, like us, relatively, that are bigger, you're seeing more of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that I'm not sure, because you know me, I'm out. I take off for 15 days to go vacation.
Right.
You know, and I don't mind getting away. And so I think for me is consistency. I just stay with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't give up, even though that the times are getting tough. But I do have a lot of return customers. I'm just telling you, boy, things are slow. This said, I have a full day with return customers.
You know, Rick, if someone said what's something that Rick has a competitive edge, just knowing you on this channel, I'm going to tell you what I think it is. Rick, you don't need junk removal. Junk removal is something that you do to bring in extra money. You're set up you're an older gentleman. You're set up with a great pension. You don't need, so if it's slow for you, you're just like, I'll get better later, you know?
I think you're right. I mean, I have a pension.
Right.
And yeah, I think you're right. My wife tells me, you know, we talk about that all the time. I don't sweat it. If things get slow, I don't sweat it.
And here's one thing, Rick, you don't start putting those fucking signs out. You don't give a fuck.
No.
You don't.
And I start signs.
I'll tell y'all, everybody, I don't think everybody knows that. I tell Maddie this all the time. And Maddie asked me a question really quick last week. He says, Dad, have you noticed they've been putting signs out? He said, do you think I should put some signs right next to their sign? I said, Maddie, the reason they put signs out is because they need more business. Do not put signs out, son. We not keeping that expense. There's a good return on these signs, by the way, Rick. I heard there's a good return on these. I said, but Maddie, you don't need that. Let the internet be your business. Just keep on. He said, all right. I said, whenever you see a sign out there, that competitor, he needs more business. That's why they put it out there. And yeah, it's for branding too. But I don't think, Rick, I'll ever see a damn sign from you. You know what I'm saying?
No, you know, right down at the end of my street over in the corner, there's 7 or 8 different industries right now that have their signs all sitting around on the corner, 91st Avenue over here. And it makes it look like shit.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And, you know, and I just won't do that to people's area. Now, I know it's probably valuable to do it. I'm sure it's helpful, but I'm just not going to do it. And I really don't care if I don't get the business because of it.
Right.
I'll just fight on. And I'll just keep putting stuff on Google Business and doing other things. And then suddenly I found when I up my Google Business, I put videos out there. You know, we talked about putting a link from your YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, from your YouTube video, you put that link on your Google business.
Mhm.
I suddenly see my business start picking up. It's when I get lazy, I suddenly see it go down.
Yeah. That's great, man. Good insight. Good insight. Okay. Hanario, you got something for us? What's up? We can't hear you, brother. Your volume's down if you're talking. Hanario.
Yeah, I have a question. So I'm not really sold on the yard signs, and I'll tell you for a couple of reasons. So before I got into the junk removal, I never really paid attention to a damn sign on the side of the road. It isn't until now that I became, people tell you, oh, you should advertise on these damn yard shows, that I pay attention to what the hell is on the yard shows. Because before, I could care less what's on the side of the road or in a yard or anything. I don't know if anybody else feels that way or not.
I feel the same way. Don't worry. I feel the same way. You're absolutely right. That's funny. That's funny that you said that, because I feel it the same. I never saw yard signs until I saw junk removal yard signs. You know what I mean? It's like you buy a Lamborghini and nobody owns a Lamborghini, but then you buy one, you see Lamborghinis all over the place. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
It's not like commercials.
Yeah.
You don't really pay attention to the commercial, but if you see it enough, then you remember it. So you just, it's really just for branding. You know what I mean? If somebody sees junk guys enough, they're gonna say, call the junk guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Hanario, I'll tell you something else. The return on these signs is good. From everybody that has used signs, I heard it's good. I think Craigslist is better, but the signs is good. It's not a bad investment, okay? So, when Maddie asked me, and he asked me, I think so today's Tuesday, he asked me last Friday. He said, Dad, look, a competitor sign. And I looked over and I said, oh, that mother. I said, pull over, I'm going to grab it. He goes, nah, let's go. And he said, hey, you know what? I want to get signs and put them right next to them. And I said, Maddie, do not do anything like that. You're not going to buy signs. They're like $400 for a lot of signs. I said, you don't do that, dude. That's I called it bootlegging. Because I try to tell him just stay away from that stuff. And it's not called bootleg. I was just saying shit to him. But I told him, don't do that, son. Stay away from that. Those people are hurting. That's why they put signs out. And I kind of talked him out of it. And he was like, okay. But the return on those signs, it is a good return. Ain't no shit. Ain't no shit. That's true. It's a good return. Okay, we'll go to Indio. Indio, what separates your business, Indio? Kind of what's your competitive edge that you have with competitors? What do you think it is, buddy? If you have
well, one of the things that I was told, I don't know, just thank you for picking up the phone. Most guys don't even pick up the phone.
Oh, thank God, dude. That's a good one. That is actually.
Yeah, so I make sure that I'm on the phone. The other thing is, a lot of times, and good example, I went to see a job today, and I sent my guy over there. Now, he doesn't really know how to measure things out, but I went today myself, and I'm like, shit. So we quoted a client at least 2 trailer loads, but it's really like 3. So because I committed to that, I'm gonna take it on the chin, even if it's lost, because this is a repeat client. And that's what it is. Sometimes I'm still working on that. Maybe I can get some advice while we're on this chat, that when you do something on the phone with pictures, and let's say something didn't come out, and you're like, wait a minute, do you renegotiate? I've seen you do a video once that you had to go back and say, hey, you know what, this is not going to be this price. So I would like to hear from other guys too, if they've ever encountered that. You say, okay, I bid 500, but you go there, it's like, holy crap, there's a whole nother room, or now there's cinder blocks, and now there's whatever. And I'm just wondering, what do you guys do? Do you guys negotiate? You take it on the chin? What do you do?
Right, that's a great question. I would take it on the chin. I would honestly take it on the. All right, Rick, have a good night, brother. I would actually take it on the chin. I would take the loss, knowing that I was going to make money, but just not a lot of money. I know some people will not take it on the chin. I know a lot of people that won't take it on the chin. They'll just like, I'd rather walk away from this. James, go ahead, James.
I always make sure when I give a quote, I always throw out there before, like, okay, it's $300. It could be more, it could be less. I'll give the final estimate when I arrive on site. So that way, again, you cover that just in case you find all the cinder blocks and all of that.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And I'll come back to that one in a second. Go ahead, Brandon.
What I heard was it was a repeat customer. So if a repeat customer sends you pictures, they already know your pricing. So you don't have to give a price. You just say, I'll get it taken care of today, tomorrow, whenever.
Good point.
And then after that, you give them the price. If it's a repeat, they know your price.
Good point. Good point.
Well, I'll give you a really good example. The guy goes in there, and this is a real estate. They have hundreds of homes, and they've used me for the last 2 years. So the guy takes pictures of the apartment. I go in there. I'm like, okay, cool. Guess what? He left the balcony filled with big furniture. Didn't take no pictures. So I had to go back and say, hey, I got to charge you this more. And then he says, well, can you do it for, and we negotiated, but I got the money. But the point was he missed the whole balcony. So that's why, like, I don't like to, like, in that case, that's when I said, nah, you can't, there's no way you're filling up my trailer versus, you missed it. So from now on, what I told him was, I'm going to go into the location. You're not going to take any pictures. I'm going to do it. I'm going to check myself. So this way there's no mix up next time. And you know what? I got another job from it. Hopefully, and what happens is I do evictions. So the evictions, the people that, the homeowners, like this, in this case, the homeowner has to pay for the people that left all this tons of furniture. But you know that in certain cultures, they're cheap. I'm not going to mention the culture, but there's at least 2 cultures that are really, really cheap.
Indian and Asian people? Is that
Correct. So they're Asian. The real estate company's Asian, and that's what it is.
Black people?
Yeah.
No. Black people are not cheap, dude. Not to me. Black people in Dallas actually pay. I thought they would be. There might be cheap tippers, but actually they tip good to me too. Nah, they do good. Okay. So I want to before I go to Vince, I want to go to James really fast. Back to James. James, you said a good point. You always get the price a little higher, knowing that they're going to negotiate the price. Is that what you said? Kind of explain that one more time, James.
So pretty much, like, let's say I quote a job from pictures, $300. I always let them know, like, okay, it's $300 for the estimate. I'll give a final once I arrive on site. It could be more, it could be less, because again, sometimes pictures are deceiving, especially with yard waste and everything like that. But it leaves that door open, so that way, if there is more of this, that, then the price is going to go up. You're not locked into sucking down that, fuck, I got to take it on the chin and do this for $300.
Yeah. Okay, so great. That's great. Great point. I do the same thing James does, but I do it a little different. I always will tell the customer, I'll look at a garage clean out, they'll send me a picture, and in my mind, I'm thinking 150. In my mind, I'm going easily 150. I'll send the text and I'll say $200 or less. Then they don't answer. They don't say nothing back. And I'm like, oh shit. Then I'll call them. I said, I didn't know if you got my quote. I said $200 or less because I just don't want to lose on the job, man. See, if I get there and it's $100, I'll charge you $100. But I always go a little higher than I'm supposed to. That way, when I get there, I'll know what to charge you properly. And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. And then they'll hire me. You see what I'm doing? I'm doing that little spacing to them to let them know that it might be 160, 165, 170, 175, 180. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of leaving that space. Or it might be 150. So I always say the word or less. Or less. I've been doing that for 18 years. I've been doing that for 18 years. All right, Vince, what do you got, brother?
All right. So what sets Junk Guys Austin apart from our competition is one we give.
I'll ask you the question. You're just jumping in. So Vince,
we give online.
What separates you from your competitors in your area, brother? Other than you've been doing this longer than 9 months. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, yep. We give online estimates, so we give estimates through pictures. And it's always a ballpark range for like what Indio was talking about. For instance, if I see something in there, I might say 670 575 to 775 or 475 to 575. Because if I show up and I think it's more than 575, I'll just charge them 600. And you know, it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Um, what also sets us apart is we have 4 different dumpster containers, so we can do, you know, big jobs all by ourselves. We don't need help from the competitors. So it kind of helps us grow and you know, continue to kick ass.
Good, 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 good. What kind of
Yeah, and man, and pretty much kind of like what Rick said, I'm willing to do anything besides take it on the chin. Um, so you know, I mean, whatever it takes. I mean, I've taken jobs from junk luggers and junk king on the spot. On the spot, you know. So it is what it is. I don't know.
right?
You can the list is limitless.
So,
Also, what we do is one more thing. My bad.
go ahead.
Also, what we do is when customers are always adding shit because you know they always do. You know, if it's like a nightstand or something small, I'll say, hey, we'll add it in for free if you give us a review. And most of the time, they're like, hell yeah. So that's one, you know, one way we're able to get our reviews up.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I never thought about that one. Damn it, I never.
Yeah,
thought.
yeah,
All right,
yeah, and they'll do it on the spot.
we'll move a little
Stuff, man,
quicker.
good stuff.
James from Sin City Junk Removal. What's something that separates you from your competitor? Kind of something that you go, oh man, you know what? I'm better at them at this. That's why I can make more money than this. I know that. One thing about James that I don't know, guys, is James came on this, and me and James had talked previously about just business. We were talking about business, and James was doing things not particularly the correct way. Is that correct, James? I can say that. Can I say that?
Pretty much I was doing everything like how everyone starts out. You know, you got that big dream of wanting to scale, franchise out, blah, 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 get 4 or 5 trucks. And then that didn't work out for me. So now that I've switched over doing things your way,
Yeah.
I've had competitors try to do the same pricing as me. And then 6 months later, I've seen them take those pricings down. They're not doing $45 fridges, which
Right.
I am still.
Oh, you're still doing them. You're still doing them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I love that shit.
It's been amazing. Like I said, a lot of the guys, they can't beat my pricing, and I just make it happen. Again, I answer the phone. It doesn't matter if I got to drive 30 minutes out that same day. I'll go pick up the fucking fridge right then and there, even if it's the only job I have on the books. But I go and get it. I just grind. And then, of course, I got a network of people. So.
Hey, so what do you think separates you from your competitors, James? What do you think it is?
Well, outside of just being a little more financially stable and a little more cautious on spending this and that, I mean, all my equipment's paid off. I've had a headquarters just because it intertwines with my other business.
Yeah.
I have my truck and trailer, so that's 34 yards on big jobs. And then again, I have other people that'll help me. They'll send me jobs, and I send them jobs in return, like hot tubs. I don't do them, so I subcontract it out. They send me all the smaller shit, the refrigerators and stuff, because like it makes no sense for me to go do it.
Right. Well, that's cool, man. You know, that's great. I think an advantage all of us have, and I'm going to say this really quick. I think an advantage all of us have is these meetings. It's changed a lot of our businesses. It helped you, Sin City. It helped Fred. You know what I mean? Just these having these meetings and getting ideas from everyone. You know what I mean? It's changed on. Now we've been more profitable. And speaking about Fred, what's something that separates you from your competitor, Fred? And don't give me no long shit, bro. Don't give me no long fucking story, okay? Just tell me what separates you. Your competitor.
I'll give you a little bit of both, but there is, when it comes to Mountain Man, there is no competition, at least here locally. I'm just gonna say that. But the population's really low, so that hurts, you know. So but I think a lot of the things that people have been saying, just, you know, Google reviews, responding, answering the phone. I don't really do the whole pricing. Like, I try to tell them, and I try to stay on, like, we charge $300 per truckload, and we're going to gauge that on our trailer if we show up. So it kind of, you know, it hits them low. They think, okay, well, and if they tell me it's 3 truckloads, well, then they've already admitted that it's going to be like 900. So which I'm not going to charge them $900 for 3 truckloads because, you know, my trailer is like $600, but they're already expecting, like, you know, some sort of a variance of that. And then, you know, I come in with a lower trailer price. And you know, that kind of works for me. And that's kind of where I'm at with how I do my pricing. I don't really know how my competitors do it, but yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's not bad. Not bad. Marco, what's something that you do that you know, your competitor? I think it's Rick, right? Isn't Rick one of your competitors? Rick Cardenius? He's a good friend.
Yeah, he's one of my. He's like one of the top competitors.
Yeah, and he's a good friend of mine. I mean, you know, when we started Junk Guys, he said good luck with it to me, and he was really cool about it. He always you know, checks all my videos and stuff. He's always making comments, nothing negative, always positive stuff. So he's a good. What's the name of his business, really fast?
RGV Junk Removal.
RGV Junk Removal.
Yeah.
And he's red and blue, right?
Yeah, red and blue.
Okay, RGV Junk Removal. Check him out. He's in Rio Grande Valley area. Go ahead, Marco. What do you think separates you from your competitors, brother?
I guess something simple with him is we work Sundays, so we have a bunch of jobs on Sundays. They don't really. A lot of people don't work on Sundays. They take the day off. You know what I mean? So we're usually pretty booked on Sundays. Another one is we own all our trucks and trailers, so we don't have any payments on those. So our pricing is very fair, and we have good pricing. So that kind of separates us as well.
Yeah, I will tell you, I work with Marco and his father, and they don't fuck around. They don't fuck around, bro. These boys, they make no fucking working hard ass. We had a warehouse, and this is the first time. This is a true story, really quick.
I believe you.
Yeah, and we had a warehouse. We were doing as a big warehouse, and they just showed up. I shook their hands, and the dad walks out, and he says, "Where's it at?" And I said, "Where?" He goes, "What are we cleaning out?" And I'm like, "Bro, I just introduced myself to you, bro. I'm Ricardo, the YouTube guy. You should worship me, you know? This motherfucker, his dad, Marco's dad, was not fucking around. He's like, "Where's it at?" I said, "Well, it's that room." He goes, They just walked over. I mean, this is like 10 seconds after I met these guys. Marco, you remember how it went down? Y'all just started working. I didn't have to say nothing to these guys. They just worked, and they were done quick. In less than an hour, they had knocked out that whole room. And then they're sweating like a motherfucker, but it was done really quick. So I will tell you, Junk Guys, Rio Grande Valley, these motherfuckers can work. I was like, damn, shit. Yeah, I loved it because I didn't have to do shit. Anyway, thank you, Marco. Let's talk to Alex. Alex, where you at, Alex? What separates your business from the competitor, brother? What's something that you do that might be, you know, competitive to you that the competitors can't do because you're doing it yourself? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say anything special, but when I give them a price with the picture, a quote with the picture, I'll just tell them, you know, same, just like everybody else. You know, it could vary.
Yeah,
you are deceiving.
Have you ever had a problem like what Maddie did?
Not to that extent, but when I got there and I, you know, I talked to a customer. I was like, "Hey, you know, this is," and I showed them the pictures that they sent me, and then there's like stuff in the back, and I'm like, "That's not in your picture." And like, "Oh yeah, that yeah, I see what you mean." I'm like, you know, you want me to take it? It's gonna be a little bit more. And if they're like, "Well, it's kind of," I said, "Okay, well," and I've done this before. I said, "Well, you know, you can call like 1-800.
Oh, I love that.
They give you.
That's the best. And
I just say, you know, and you know, whatever, if you're willing to take my price and just call me back.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Quick story. I contracted a refrigerator this past week to Charlie's Junk Removal, and he went over there and he calls me. He says, "Hey, Ricardo, Junkie is here." I said, "What are you talking about, Junkie is here? I just finished talking to the lady." He goes, "No, they're inside the house. They're removing the fridge." I said, "Yo, Charlie, what the fuck are you doing outside?" He goes, "Well, they're inside." I said, "They're charging her $300, $200. Go inside and talk to the lady. He goes, no, let's just walk away. I said, no, dude, you gotta let him know who you are. You're working representing junk guys. Don't do this or I'm never gonna give you a job again. And he goes, you're right. Fuck it. And I said, he goes, okay, I'll call you back. And I said, no, you're not gonna call me back. Stay on the phone with me, dude. So he goes in the house. They already have their dolly inside. It's 2 guys. Charlie only showed up by himself. And he says, ma'am, so you called us to do the refrigerator and you got someone else out here. She goes, oh, I thought y'all were the junk guys. And Junk King says, no, we're Junk King. And he goes, well, I said, ma'am, I was going to charge you $100 for it. And then she said, well, how much are y'all charging? And they said, $300. Junk King was charging $300. And she goes, no, guys, that's too much. I thank you very much, but y'all can go. And we ended up getting the job from them. We stole it from them. And to be honest with you, the Junk King guys, they were really fucking chill about it, bro. They were so fucking chill about it. They're like, hey, man, no problem, bro. We got to go. We got to do another job. And, congratulations on the job. They were so cool about it. I was really surprised how chill they were about it. So anyway, Lonnie, you're the last one, Lonnie. Really quick, are you doing anything? What sets you apart from your competitors, Lonnie? What do you think?
I've been told that I'm very punctual, show up on time, have good communication skills with the customer. They know exactly what they're getting.
Yeah. So what do you exactly do to communicate with them? What do you tell them? Hey, I'm coming at this time. I'm outside. What are you doing from the whole trip?
When we schedule a clean out or a pickup, I say, here's your time. I'm going to be there. I'm there. I give them a half an hour notice when I'm on my way, going from one job to the next.
Yeah. Who does that, by the way? Who in this group? Give a thumbs up if you do that. I do 30 minutes. Who does 30 minutes? Okay. I only got 2 people saying they do it. So nobody else. Okay. Marco, go ahead. What do you do? Marco does it too. Indio does it too. Okay. Hanario does it too. Maddie does it all the time. The problem is that everybody's 5 minutes away from Maddie. That's his problem. Okay, everybody. I just always had done 30 minutes for some reason. And then sometimes I'll forget to call. And then I'm like 8 minutes away. And I'm like, hey, I'm 8 minutes away. And they're like, oh, you said 30. I'm like, I lost track of time. I'll say shit like that. So that happens all the time too. Well, that's great, Lonnie, that you have good communication. I have horrible communication with my customers. Horrible. Because half the time I don't care, but I guess I'm getting older too. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for us. It's 10:02. Thanks for everybody staying in the group. We will keep it going for next week. So I'll talk to everybody next Tuesday night. Have a great weekend. All right? Or week.
Just later. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, brother.
Mm-hmm.